everyone, welcome back to another episode of Travel Tips with me, Jasmine, and for this week's episode we're gonna do part 3 of travel hacks. I have already done 2 travel hack videos, so if you guys want to check that out, just go on JoinMyTrip and type in travel hacks, or then I'll also put it in the link below. So you guys always enjoyed these travel hacks, that's why I'm gonna do it again, and who does not love a good travel hack every now and then? So let's get started. So for the very first tip is to volunteer at hostels for free accommodation and food. So if you guys want to save money on accommodation and don't want to be spending a lot, but you know that you might be wanting to stay in that country for a while, you could also look into volunteering in hostels. It's actually a very common thing. A lot of my friends do it around Europe when they're traveling. They, for example, go to Croatia for 2 months and they just decided to volunteer in a hostel for 2 months without having to pay accommodation, only for their activities and food. And then for the second tip, I actually learned this in Budapest, Hungary, when a cashier actually told me that when you're paying in a foreign currency, it's actually cheaper to pay in that foreign currency. So for example, if you're paying with your card somewhere that does not use euros, for example, and you're using euros, when you put your card in the machine, it will usually ask if you want to pay in euros or in that foreign currency. You should always pay in the foreign currency, because the exchange rate on your bank is probably a lot more expensive. So if you would be paying in euros thinking that it's probably cheaper, it's actually not. So always pay in the foreign currency. And then we move on to tip number 3, is to always bring probiotics with you, or at least take them, because when you go to a foreign country, sometimes your stomach might not work well with the food there, or it's not quite used to. This actually happens a lot with Westerners going to Asia, for example, or the Middle East. It's usually because your stomach can't really handle the bacteria, or the bacteria is a bit different. So taking probiotics will actually save you, because you can get actually really sick. One of our colleagues is actually in Lebanon right now, unfortunately, and she got a really bad stomach ache from some food because she wasn't used to it. So if you guys want to avoid being sick on a trip, it's better to always take probiotics with you. And then for the fourth tip is to buy a portable luggage scale. This has saved me more times than I can count, and it's usually quite cheap. I think you can get them for less than 10 euros, where you can just take the portable scale with you wherever you go, and then you will always know if your luggage is overweight or not. This way you also save time, and you will know beforehand whether you will have to pay any extra, or maybe you'll also know what things to throw out when you're packing at the same time. And then tip number 5 is to, when you're paying with a card, always make sure that it's paid in front of you. This has actually happened to my friend in a random country, where the waitress asked whether he wanted to pay in cash or card, and he wanted to pay it in card. The waitress actually took the card all the way to the back and paid it without him seeing it, and he thought everything was fine, and next thing he knew, the next day his card was taken around like 3,000 euros, and they were just buying stuff off of his card non-stop. So always make sure that your card is visible when you're paying, and don't let them ever bring it somewhere to the back or anything. If they do, just tell them, well, I want to come with you and I want to check that it's actually paid correctly. And that's all the 5 travel hacks I have for you guys this week. I hope it's helpful to you guys. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment on what kind of video you would like to see next week. And maybe let me know which one was your favorite travel hack. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.